Hello, I'm Ronan Mc Kenna from the Respect Project. Firstly, Conor, thanks for coming.
You're welcome, Ronan.
Conor, at the start, how was your childhood?
I would say I had a very happy childhood. I have one brother and one sister. Done a bit of fighting in our days, but generally it was good. We had a happy time. Dad had a business in Armagh, and so we weren't making loads of money, but we were never done without. And I say it was probably a childhood full of sports for me. From basketball, which with my height wasn't a great sport, but enjoyed it. Gaelic football, soccer, played for Armagh Celtic, played for Armagh Harps, played cricket for Armagh, played badminton, played squash, played everything, handball. So I tried everything, but definitely, it was definitely a happy time.
Yeah. Did your parents influence you to start golf, or was it a decision you made yourself?
I suppose it was my own decision. My dad was a very keen golfer. He was he's a member of Armagh Golf Club for 54 years, so I suppose he was always there in the background, but he never forced us to play. If you wanted to play, you played. But up until I suppose I was 16, I played every other sport. So I was really keen in basketball, really keen in football, Gaelic football, and I went in for an operation when I was 16 on my feet, and so I couldn't play the Gaelic sports or basketball for a while, so I just took up golf, and that was basically it. So I just started the golf and took off from there.
Who was your idol growing up?
I suppose basketball wise was Michael Jordan for the Bulls, and then had Larry Bird for Boston Celtics. They were the two big basketball players I suppose I looked up to. Golfers then was like Nick Faldo was number one in the world at this stage. We had Tom Watson, with Jack Nicklaus. These were all kind of the older players. Colin Montgomery that I liked, and we were lucky enough, me and your brother Michael, we used to go down and watch Tom Watson every summer. He used to come to Sligo to practice before the Open Championship and playing on the links courses, and we used to stay down there for weekends and stuff, so we got to see him and walked the furrows with him, and he became a 5-time Open champion, so we had good times.
Yeah. What was your thoughts when you became professional in golf?
I suppose, Ronan, it came about out of the blue. I never ever thought I was good enough to be a golf professional. I took the game up at 16, messed about for a few years, done the same as everybody else and hitting poor shots, and then when I was 19 I kind of started to focus a bit more on it, started to seem to have getting better, a bit stronger, and I started to play golf with the local assistant golf professional at our club, and I was giving him a few hidings every night on out. Basically I was beating him, and my handicap was really coming down very quick. I got down from 19 to 9 in 1 year, which was a big drop, and then the next year down 9 to 6 and 6 to 4, and it just kept on going. And then he left Armagh, or was leaving, and he said to me, he said, "Why don't you go off ask for my job?" And that's where it started. So it was just out of the blue, I suppose.
When you were professional, did you practice for hours on end, or did you sacrifice your whole life towards the sport?
At the time I worked really hard in the game, so on my days off I started working in the pro shop when I was 22. So leading up to that, for about 2 years before that, I was doing merchandising for a bread company. So I had to go in the mornings early, and then I had time to go and practice, and then I go back down to a little bit and then back up to practice. So a lot of time then. But when I started working in the pro shop when I was 22, I did practice a lot. So my days off I had done 8-10 hours a day at that stage. So I used to go down like a day's work, start and practice all parts of the game, from long game to short game to putting, and then playing a bit of golf. So I did put a lot of work in, but I had to put the work in at that stage because I knew myself I wasn't that gifted. Everything that I'd done in life I had to work hard at, and I never had lessons. So I turned professional the following year when I was 23. I was in 1997, and I never had a golf lesson until I was 25, which is 2 years after I turned pro. So hard work, I suppose, got me there, but I was never naturally talented at anything, I suppose. It's just everything I got in life I had to work very hard at.
When you were a professional, did you ever stick to a strict diet or anything like that?
Well, I suppose to look at me you'd say no, but in my 20s and 30s, whenever I was playing more, I never really thought about that too much, to be honest. So I got married, and I suppose like everybody else, life was busy and kids and coming along. But now that I've been in my 40s, especially in my mid-40s, I go to the gym, 3-4 times a week now. And I do watch my diet a bit more. I watch the calorie intake and try and burn more than I eat. I let go a wee bit at the weekends, but certainly I do watch what I eat now, and I'm trying to be careful.
Yeah. How is it to compete in major tournaments and win tournaments?
I suppose I am very competitive by nature, and that's the job obviously I've gone into, but I don't like being beat at anything. I always wanted to be the best, even though I was naturally gifted, but I always wanted to be the best. And whether it's business now, I want to be the best, I want to have the best techniques, I want to have the best coaching rooms, and so I'm competitive. Like when I was young, I did do a lot of winning at our golf club, which I loved. And I suppose that's carried on through life now. I just want to win all the time.
Exactly, yeah. As well as golf, have you ever had to overcome like bad situations in life?
I suppose most of the situations I had bad, I would say, I've been in the golf industry. Everything was great up until I went to start to become a head professional. So I was an assistant professional for 14 years. But during that time I was going for jobs as head professional. And I seemed to be getting so close to the end goal of getting that head pro position, but there always seemed to be somebody there that knocked me at the last, and there was always somebody who knew somebody in a golf club, and so those golf clubs are very cliquey, and you need to know people in the clubs. So I had a lot of knocks along the way in jobs, and probably the biggest knock was when I got my job in 2010 as head professional of a great golf course in Castlebrini, Conquer Wood. Then COVID come along in the middle of it all, and I lost my contract up there, and that was, I suppose, that was a big knock professionally. Having done nothing wrong, but you kind of feel as if you've done everything wrong, and it does knock your confidence a bit. But I suppose by nature you become very resilient, and you fight back, and you want to do the best for yourself, and you've done it once, you've got to the peak, so you know how to do it again.
Yeah.
But I suppose things make you hard over the years. You do get hard with knocks.
Obviously, when you finish being a professional, you went into coaching. Do you prefer coaching, and who influenced you to go into that field?
I think it's a natural thing, Ronan. Like, it's still, obviously I'm still a professional. I've been professional for the last 26 years, I think, at this stage. But, I played quite a bit on the Irish PGA region circuit for many years, and I was competing well. I was shooting some good scores, but I found I wasn't making enough money at it. Mm-hmm. And I played with two boys one time in a professional tournament, and they shot the same scores in the opening round. Mm. And these were two of the biggest golfers in Ireland at that point. And the next day I was playing with them, and I just knew that was the one day that it kind of was like the moment where I knew I wasn't going to play golf professionally. Mm. That I'd have to go to a different route. Yeah. And I like coaching. I was coaching a lot of kids and all at that stage in schools, so I liked it. But I suppose that, if you're not making money at playing, then you kind of have to find another route. And I suppose I'm honest enough to know that was my time. I had to kind of put the clubs away professionally and take up the coaching role and retail.
Like you obviously mentioned it before, but how did you find that change between going from Conquer Wood to going to Banbridge?
I suppose I did find it hard, because there are two different types of golf courses. Because the golf course I was at, I was tournament director for 3 Europro events. Then we went on to stage the Challenge Tour event, and we were dealing a lot with visitors. So I was in charge of the tournaments. I was in charge of all the fundraising for it. I was in charge of development of the golf course and making the golf course and the facilities better. So, and we were doing a lot with visitors back then. That was the type of club I was at, with visitors. And then when I moved back to Banbridge, and there was nothing wrong with the club, but it took me a long time just to get used to a different type of club, because I was back to dealing mostly with members, a few visitors. But my last job where I was like front of house for 16,000 visitors a year, where when I went to Banbridge, like what I was at Armagh, it was like more a members course. It's usually mostly with the members, and they have their different things that they need, and the visitors certainly had their own, they hadn't a clue where anything was, so you had to almost feed them everything,
Yeah. Who was better, you or Michael?
I think if you had a mixture of the two of us,
Yeah.
you'd have had a good golfer in there, you know. Your brother, or my brother, your dad he was a very good ball striker. He was obviously a bigger fella than I was, and he hit the ball massive distance. However, he couldn't keep it in the park. Where I didn't hit the ball as far, but I was a very steady golfer, and I didn't make too many mistakes, and my scores would have been more conservative. Where he was kind of birdie bogey, I would have been par, you know. So, but I suppose if you had blended the two together, your dad was a very good player in his day, and I suppose if he had kept at it, he would have played off very low handicap.
Yeah. Finally, did you like to add anything?
There's a few things that I've found out over the years, Ronan, in terms of sport, and resilience is definitely one of them. I think you're going to take your knocks. It's how you take them. It's how you bounce back. Those are the things, I suppose, that I've learned in sport and life, is that you're always going to get knocks. So, and it makes you hard. I've become harder to things now because I've taken the knocks. But the other thing that really for me is always about preparation. I do nothing. I come here tonight with notes. I sat last night, done all my notes out. That, failure to prepare to fail. That is my motto in life. So everything has to be that I go there prepared. And I suppose that's what I try to teach even my own two sons, but also the pupils that I deal with, the players that I deal with, is if they don't prepare well, they're going to fail.
Conor, thanks for coming.
No problem, Ron. Good lad, thank you.